Your cat has probably told you, "I love you," 1,000 times, and chances are, you never recognized a single one. It's strange how something so meaningful can hide inside habits we've shrugged off for years. Cats speak in gestures so soft and instinctive that most people never learn to listen. But once you notice even one of them, you start seeing signs everywhere. In this video, you'll uncover the quiet signals your cat has been using to reach you, long before you knew how to understand them. And if this perspective resonates with you, feel free to subscribe so we can keep exploring these small wonders together. Number 1. Bringing gifts as a sharing behavior. It's a little unsettling when you realize your cat might be leaving things at your feet for reasons far more emotional than practical. They aren't trying to shock you or test your patience, even when the gift is something you'd rather not touch. What your cat is doing in that moment is offering you a piece of their world, something they worked for or found valuable enough to share. It's the kind of gesture they reserve for those they consider part of their inner circle. The way a cat in a family group shares prey to strengthen connection, whether it's a toy, a leaf, or something you wish they hadn't brought inside, the meaning behind it is the same. You are someone they choose to provide for. And even though the instinct can be messy, responding with calm acceptance shows your cat that you understand the intention, not just the object. Number 2. Watching you sleep as protective behavior. Have you ever opened your eyes at night and found your cat sitting completely still, almost like they were guarding something? It can feel eerie in the moment, but beneath that quiet stare is a deep instinct, shaped by how cats protect the ones they trust. Your cat isn't watching you because they're confused or bored. They're awake during the hours when their instincts tell them someone should be keeping lookout. And since you're the one who sleeps deeply and predictably, they take up that role without fanfare, placing themselves where they can see the door or the whole room at once. It's a small, silent act of caretaking that often goes unnoticed because it happens when you're most vulnerable. When you realize that this stillness is their version of standing guard, the whole moment softens, and what once felt strange starts to feel like a quiet kind of devotion. Number 3. Special purr, used only with bonded humans. It might surprise you to know that not every purr your cat gives is meant for the world. Some are meant only for you. When your cat settles beside you with a loose, trusting body and lets out that soft, steady vibration, they're sharing a sound shaped by connection, not habit. It's their way of telling you they feel safe in your presence, safer than they feel with strangers or even with other animals in the home. You can feel it in the way their body gently hums against yours, as if they're letting you into a private conversation they don't offer casually. And something shifts when you recognize that this sound isn't just comfort for them, it's comfort for you too. The kind that eases your breathing and makes a quiet moment feel even quieter. When your cat purrs like this, take a second to notice the context, because the softness in their eyes and the calm in their posture are part of the message. This is affection expressed through stillness, a small ritual that slowly teaches you how deeply they feel toward you without ever needing a single word. Number 4. Meowing as human-directed communication. Have you ever noticed how your cat saves their voice almost exclusively for you, as if they've developed a language they don't bother using with anyone else? Cats don't speak this way to other cats, which means every small sound, every chirp, every drawn-out meow, every tiny greeting is something they created because you're part of their world. When they talk to you as you walk through the door or glance their way in the kitchen, they're reaching out in the only vocal tool they've shaped for human ears, hoping you'll acknowledge the connection. Over time, these exchanges start to feel like a rhythm. You say something, they answer, and suddenly it becomes a conversation that feels both simple and strangely intimate. It's easy to assume they're only hungry or bored, but the frequency and softness of their voice often reveal something much closer to affection than demand. And once you learn to listen for the tone, not just the sound, you start hearing the warmth behind their words. Because to your cat, this isn't noise. It's their way of choosing you again and again. Number 5. Rolling on their back and greeting. You know that moment when your cat sees you and suddenly drops to the floor like gravity tugged them sideways? It looks playful, maybe even a little silly. But there's something much softer happening beneath the surface. When your cat rolls onto their back and twists from side to side, They're offering a gesture they usually reserve for moments of deep comfort, the kind they'd show only to someone they trust completely. It's a greeting that carries hints of their kittenhood, a behavior rooted in the way young cats show respect and seek closeness from those who protect them. When they do this for you, they're not asking for anything complicated. They're simply expressing joy that you're near. Joy so uncomplicated it spills out of them in movement rather than sound. And even though the pose exposes one of their most vulnerable areas, what matters isn't the exposed belly, but the willingness to be unguarded in your presence. A small, unspoken reminder that your return means more to them than you realize. Number 6. Slow blink as a sign of trust. If you could understand just one silent gesture from your cat, it might be the slow blink. This small, almost sleepy movement carries a tenderness that words can't hold, a softness that tells you your presence feels safe to them. Cats don't offer this lightly, because holding someone's gaze and then closing their eyes is the opposite of what their instincts tell them to do. When your cat looks at you this way, they're letting their guard fall for a moment, trusting that nothing bad will happen while their eyes are closed. And when you return the gesture, something gentle happens in the space between you. You're speaking back in a language they recognize instinctively, a language built on calm rather than sound. It turns a quiet moment into an exchange, a shared breath that tells both of you that the room is peaceful and the connection is real. Once you notice how often your cat offers you this small sign, you start to realize how many times they've been saying they feel safe with you without ever making a sound. Number 7. Gentle paw touch as social connection. There's something unexpectedly tender about the moment your cat reaches out with a single paw, almost as if they're tapping you back into the present. It's such a small gesture that it's easy to dismiss, yet it carries the same softness cats use when they connect with those they trust most. When your cat touches your arm or your cheek with that light, careful pressure, they're borrowing a behavior from their closest relationships, the kind they form only with those who matter to them. You can feel the difference between this touch and a demanding one. The relaxed shoulders, the quiet eyes, the absence of claws, all signs that they're not asking for something so much as acknowledging you. It's their way of saying, "I'm here with you," a silent request to share a moment without noise or movement. And once you begin to sense the emotion behind that gentle tap, you realize it isn't about attention at all. It's about closeness, offered in the softest way they know how. Number 8. Grooming the owner as social bonding. It's easy to overlook the meaning behind the moment your cat leans in and begins to lick your hand or your hair. But this tiny act carries a depth most people never notice. Cats groom only those they accept as part of their inner circle. And when they choose you this way, they're folding you into a bond that feels almost familial to them. The warmth behind each lick isn't about cleaning you. It's a quiet reassurance that you belong with them, the same way cats reassure each other in close, safe groups. Sometimes they follow the licking with a soft nibble, light enough to feel like a whisper. And that little gesture is often their way of fine-tuning the affection, adjusting it so it feels just right. You can sense the difference between this gentle connection and the sharper edge that appears when they become overstimulated, their bodies subtly shifting from loose to tense. But in the soft version, the one they give you when they're calm and trusting, they're offering something incredibly intimate, a moment where they're not guarding themselves or keeping distance, but letting you into the space they reserve for those they love most. Number 9. Showing the belly as ultimate trust. There's a reason it feels almost startling the first time your cat rolls over and reveals that soft, unprotected belly. It's a gesture that goes against nearly every instinct they have, a moment where they choose vulnerability in a world where they're usually careful and alert. When your cat stretches out like this in front of you, they're offering something far deeper than an invitation to pet them. They're showing you they feel safe enough to let their guard fall entirely. You can see it in the looseness of their posture, the relaxed paws, the quiet confidence in the way they settle into the moment, rather than bracing for anything unexpected. Sometimes they welcome gentle touch, and sometimes they tense up, reminding you that trust and boundaries can coexist without contradiction. What matters isn't whether your hand moves toward them, but that they chose to show you a part of themselves they usually keep protected. A quiet declaration that your presence is a place where they feel no need to defend anything at all. Number 10. Kneading is a comfort behavior. You've probably felt it. Those rhythmic little presses of your cat's paws as they settle into your lap like they're working invisible dough. It's a behavior so innocent and familiar that it's easy to miss the emotion woven into it. A remnant of kittenhood carried into adulthood, only when a cat feels completely at ease. When your cat kneads on you, they're reaching for a memory of warmth and safety, recreating the feeling of being comforted and cared for, but now choosing you as the source of that comfort. There's something deeply trusting in the way they close their eyes or let their body relax against yours, as if your presence gives them permission to soften in a way they don't offer the rest of the world. The gentle release of calm that comes from this ritual is something they share only when they feel secure enough to let instinct take over, turning an ancient habit into a modern expression of affection. And if the kneading becomes a little too enthusiastic or constant, it's rarely misbehavior. It's simply a sign that their feelings for you run so deep they sometimes forget where instinct ends and emotion begins. Number 11. Head bumps and body rubs for scent marking. Most people don't realize that when your cat bumps their head against you, they're giving you one of the highest honors they have. This small, firm touch carries a sense of familiarity and belonging that cats don't offer casually. A way of saying you're part of the space they consider safe. When they rub their cheek along your leg or press their forehead into yours, they're sharing a quiet moment of connection built from instinct, trust, and something that feels a lot like affection. You can feel the intention in the way they lean in, never rushed, never careless, always with a softness that tells you they're choosing closeness rather than simply brushing past. The scent they leave behind is their way of weaving you into their world, creating a bond that feels both ancient and incredibly personal. And when they offer that gentle forehead touch, the one that feels almost like a greeting and a promise at the same time, you realize they're not just claiming you, they're inviting you deeper into the small circle of beings they feel connected to. Number 12. Weaving between legs for affection and attention. You've probably had that moment where your cat winds around your legs so tightly you have to pause mid-step just to avoid tripping. It feels like an inconvenience on the surface, but underneath is a gesture shaped by closeness, a quiet way of asking to be noticed without demanding anything out loud. When your cat moves in those small figure-8 patterns around you, they're blending two instincts at once: the comfort of leaving their scent on someone they trust, and the desire to be acknowledged by the person they feel connected to. There's a softness in the way their body curves around you, not pushing or pulling, just reminding you they're there and choosing to be near you. You can sense their calmness in the motion, the unhurried swish of their tail, the gentle brush of their side against your legs, all of it forming a simple but intimate moment of connection. Over time, you begin to recognize that this weaving isn't about food or attention. It's about closeness for its own sake, a quiet way of saying they feel safe enough to wrap themselves around you, as if you're part of the roots they trust most. Number 13. Question mark tail as a friendly greeting. It's easy to miss the meaning behind a tail held high with just the tip curled, especially when it passes by in a quiet morning moment. Yet this simple shape carries a warm, unmistakable message, one your cat offers only when they feel calm in your presence. When they walk toward you with that gentle curve, they're greeting you with a softness that doesn't need sound or movement to be understood. You can see the ease in their steps, the steady pace that tells you they're not bracing for anything, but instead moving towards someone who feels safe. Unlike the sharp, restless thrashing of irritation, this upright tail is relaxed and open, almost like a small wave meant only for you. And once you start recognizing it, the gesture feels less like a posture and more like a quiet hello from someone who's genuinely happy you're in their world. Number 14. Following you as a sign of attachment. There's a moment many cat owners brush off the soft sound of paws behind them, the quiet shadow that moves from room to room without ever causing a fuss. It's tempting to assume your cat is just curious or hoping you'll eventually end up near the food bowl. But the truth behind this small habit is much more personal. When your cat chooses to walk after you, matching your pace with a calm steadiness. They're showing you that your presence feels grounding to them, something they prefer not to drift too far from. You can feel it in the way they settle nearby when you finally stop, not pushing for attention, just resting in the comfort of being close. It's a kind of companionship that doesn't announce itself, a quiet declaration that you've become part of the landscape they trust. And the more you notice how often they choose your company over an empty sunlit room or a quiet corner, the more it becomes clear that this gentle following isn't neediness. It's affection wrapped in independence. Their way of saying they feel safest when they're near you. Number 15. Sleeping near you for safety. There's a certain sweetness in waking up to find your cat curled somewhere close, as if they quietly chose you in the middle of the night. Cats don't give up their guard easily, yet they soften their instincts when they feel protected, settling beside you not out of habit, but out of trust. When they sleep at your feet, against your side, or even on top of your clothes, they're surrounding themselves with the scent and presence that makes their world feel steady. You can sense the depth of that trust in the way they stretch out fully or tuck themselves into a shape that leaves them completely relaxed, showing you they believe this is a place where nothing can reach them. Sometimes they choose a shirt you left on the couch or a blanket you use every day, because even when you're not there, your scent offers the same comfort your presence does. And over time, you start to realize that this simple act, quiet, unspoken, easily overlooked, is one of the clearest signs that your cat feels safe enough to rest in the warmth of the life you share with them. It's a strange kind of warmth, realizing how many quiet ways your cat has been reaching for you all this time. And even if you didn't recognize every gesture before today, your care and presence have already been shaping your bond more than you know. What really matters is understanding that love from a cat is gentle, intentional, and offered in moments most people overlook. Try letting yourself notice these small signals when they happen, as if each one is a tiny conversation you were finally taught how to hear. And as you start seeing these moments differently, something else becomes easier to notice too. Where your cat chooses to place their body when they're near you. There's a surprising reason some cats sit close but not quite on your lap, and it reveals a lot about how they balance comfort and independence. If you're curious to understand that part of their behavior, I'd love to keep exploring it with you in the next video.